Trump administration, I think, is unconscionable. And Senator, I just ask you, stop playing politics with people's lives. The reality is that we will have a vaccine, we believe, before the end of this year. And it will have the capacity to save countless American lives. And your continuous undermining of confidence in a vaccine is just, it's just unacceptable.
The day I got the call from Joe Biden, it was actually a Zoom call.
It was a Zoom call. She got hired on a Zoom call? It's fucking hooker. Fucking hooker.
Asking me to serve with him on this ticket was probably one of the most memorable days of my life.
I also want to congratulate you, as I did on that phone call, on the historic nature of your nomination.
Thank you.
I never expected to be on this stage 4 years ago, so I know the feeling.
Let's look at taxes. We now know, because of great investigative journalism, that Donald Trump paid $750 in taxes. And it'd be really good to know who the President of the United States, the Commander-in-Chief, owes money to, because the American people have a right to know what is influencing the President's decisions. And is he making those decisions on the best interest of the American people, of you, or self-interest?
The American people have a president who was a businessman, he's a job creator, who's paid tens of millions of dollars in taxes, payroll taxes, property taxes. He's created tens of thousands of American jobs. And the president said those public reports are not accurate. And the president's also released literally stacks of financial disclosures the American people can review just as the law allows. Joe Biden said twice in the debate last week that he's going to repeal the Trump tax cuts. That was tax cuts that gave the average working family $2,000 in a
So that's the Trump tax cuts?
tax break every single year.
That is
that's the
absolutely not true. That
Is he
tax
only
bill,
is he only going to repeal part of the Trump tax cuts?
if you don't mind letting me finish, we can then have a conversation, okay?
Please.
Okay.
Stupid ass bitch. It's not a conversation. It's a fucking political debate.
Joe Biden will not raise taxes on anyone who makes less than $400,000 a year. He has been very clear about that. Joe Biden will not end fracking. He has been very clear about that. If you have a pre-existing condition...
This bitch, I'm telling you, this bitch is gonna win. I bet you she does pretty good tonight. It's gonna be a great... it's gonna be so interesting to see if somebody cracks. It's like a NASCAR race. Will somebody crash?
Heart disease, diabetes, breast cancer, they're coming for you. If you love someone who has a pre-existing condition, they're coming for you. If you are under the age of 26 on your parents' coverage, they're coming for you.
You know, what's remarkable is
If you're under 26 and on your parents' coverage, they're coming for you. For what? Because you don't actually even go to the doctor and use any medical insurance? Because most young people don't?
the United States has reduced CO2
But maybe with vaccines.
more than the countries that are still in the Paris Climate Accord, but we've done it through innovation. And we've done it through natural gas and fracking.
The west coast of our country is burning, including my home state of California. Joe sees what is happening on the Gulf states, which are being battered by storms. And Joe's plan is about saying we're going to deal with it, but we're also going to create jobs. Donald Trump, when asked about the wildfires in California, and the question was, the science is telling us this, you know what Donald Trump said? Science doesn't know.
China is to blame for the coronavirus. And President Trump is not happy about it.
Science doesn't know. As if that's a person. As if somebody called up Dr. Science and was like, "Hey, Dr. Science, could you give us the 99.9% truth?"
He's made that very clear. Made it clear again today. China and the World Health Organization did not play straight with the American people. They did not let our personnel into China to get information on the coronavirus until the middle of February. Fortunately, President Trump, in dealing with China from the outset of this administration, standing up to China that had been taking advantage of America for decades in the wake of Joe Biden's cheerleading for China, President Trump made that decision before the end of January to suspend all travel from China.
It's about relationships. And the thing that has always been part of the strength of our nation, in addition to our great military, has been that we keep our word. But Donald Trump doesn't understand that because he doesn't understand what it means to be honest.
With regard to the Supreme Court,
It's such great projection, isn't it? Holy fuck. I'm telling you, I bet you this bitch comes out pretty hot tonight.
let me say President Trump and I could not be more enthusiastic about the opportunity to see Judge Amy Coney Barrett become Justice Amy Coney Barrett. She's a brilliant woman, and she will bring a lifetime of experience and a sizable American family to the Supreme Court of the United States.
The issues before us couldn't be more serious. There's the issue of choice, and I will always fight for a woman's right to make a decision about her own body. It should be her decision and not that of Donald Trump and the Vice President, Michael Penn.
I couldn't be more proud to serve as Vice President to a president who stands without apology for the sanctity of human life. I'm pro-life. I don't apologize for it. And this is another one of those cases where there's such a dramatic contrast. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris support taxpayer funding of abortion all the way up to the moment of birth. Late-term abortion. They want to increase funding to Planned Parenthood of America. Now, for our part, I would never presume how Judge Amy Coney Barrett would rule on the Supreme Court of the United States, but we'll continue to stand strong for the right to life. Your party is actually openly advocating adding seats to the Supreme Court, which has had 9 seats for 150 years, if you don't get your way. This is a classic case of if you can't win by the rules, you're going to change the rules.
Abraham Lincoln was up for re-election, and it was 27 days before the election, and a seat became open on the United States Supreme Court. Abraham Lincoln's party was in charge not only of the White House, but the Senate. But Honest Abe said it's not the right thing to do. The American people deserve to make the decision about who will be the next president of the United States. And then that person can select who will serve for a lifetime on the highest court of our land.
Senator Harris,
In today's world, a lifetime could be like 4 years. So they stress that it's such an important issue over and over, and it's always the same lie. It's bullshit. Even in Israel with the Knesset, with modifications to the Supreme Court, this is all just sticky hair baby nonsense, baby babble.
case of Breonna Taylor, was justice done?
Breonna Taylor!
I don't believe so. And I've talked with Breonna's mother, Tamika Palmer,
Whoa!
and her family. And her family deserves
I wonder if Tamika Palmer is going to be at the debate tonight.
justice. She was a beautiful young woman. She had as her life goal to become a nurse, and she wanted to become an EMT to first learn what's going on out on the street so she could then become a nurse and save lives. And her life was taken unjustifiably and tragically and violently.
Really? Well, it turns out that that's a lie. And it turns out Breonna Taylor got played by her boyfriend, who was using her as a drug stash.
Well, our heart breaks for the loss of any innocent American life. And the family of Breonna Taylor has our sympathies. But I trust our justice system, a grand jury that refused the evidence. And it really is remarkable that as a former prosecutor, you would assume that an impaneled grand jury looking at all the evidence got it wrong. But you're entitled to your opinion, Senator.
At Fat Tire, we've been brewing crisp, easy drinking beer since day one.
I will not sit here and be lectured by the Vice President on what it means to enforce the laws of our country. I am the only one on this stage who has personally prosecuted everything from child sexual assault to homicide. I'm the only one on this stage who has prosecuted the big banks for taking advantage of America's homeowners. I'm the only one on this stage who prosecuted for-profit colleges for taking advantage of our veterans. And the reality of this is that we are talking about an election in 27 days, where last week the President of the United States took a debate stage in front of 70 million Americans and refused to condemn white supremacists.
Not true.
He, on the issue of Charlottesville, where people were peacefully protesting the need for racial justice, where a young woman was killed, and on the other side there were neo-Nazis carrying tiki torches,
Tiki!
shouting racial epithets, anti-Semitic.
So I don't, I remember the video, but it's that is a very weird video. I should go back and look at it, but I guess what the mainstream media says about a lot of those events are lies. And I never heard anything in the video. I just saw people, with tiki torches going on a march. Like, it's called a political protest, Kamala, freedom to assembly, freedom to speech, and anti-Semitic remarks. What anti-Semitic remarks?
Slurs. And Donald Trump, when asked about it, said there were fine people on both sides.
I mean, Senator Harris conveniently admitted after the president made comments about people on either side of the debate over monuments, he condemned the KKK, neo-Nazis, and white supremacists, and has done so repeatedly. You're concerned that he doesn't condemn neo-Nazis. President Trump has Jewish grandchildren. His daughter and son-in-law are Jewish. This is a president who respects and cherishes all of the American people.
If your ticket wins and
So, I gotta say, I think Mike Pence, like, when I watched this live, when it aired, I was like, is this guy Jesus Christ? He's like the nicest, he's like Superman or something. He's like the nicest guy ever. And the fact that people will say, the only thing that was interesting about Pence was the fly that went on his face. Well, that's like Beelzebub, okay? Lord of the Flies.
President Trump refuses to accept a peaceful transfer of power, what steps would you and Vice President Biden then take? What would happen?
So I'll tell you, Joe and I are, I think, particularly proud of the coalition that we've built around our campaign. We probably have one of the broadest coalitions of folks that you've ever seen in a presidential race. Of course, we have the support of Democrats, but also independents and
Listen, LGBTQ clowns is not consensus.
Republicans. In fact, 7 members of President George W. Bush's cabinet are supporting our ticket.
Isn't that interesting? George W. Bush's cabinet is endorsing Kamala.
Have the support of Colin Powell, Cindy McCain.
War criminals!
Over 500
war criminals!
retired generals and former national security
war criminals
are supporting our campaign. And I believe they are doing that because they know that Joe Biden has a deep, deep-seated commitment to fight for our democracy.
Senator, your party has spent the last 3.5 years trying to overturn the results of the last election. It's amazing. When Joe Biden was vice president of the United States, the FBI actually spied on President Trump and my campaign. I mean, there were documents released this week that the CIA actually made a referral to the FBI documenting that those allegations were coming from the Hillary Clinton campaign. And of course, we've all seen the avalanche, what you put the country through for the better part of 3 years until it was found that there was no obstruction, no collusion, case closed. And then Senator Harris, you and your colleagues in the Congress tried to impeach the President of the United States over a phone call.
A fucking phone. They did impeach him over a phone call. It was a perfectly fine phone call. Everybody said it. Even Zelensky said it. The only person who said it was a corrupt phone call was Lieutenant Colonel Vindman, the courageous colonel.
The policy, I think that's in his favor, but I question that's really what's going to happen.
So which Donald Trump shows up tonight?
Is there a different one? I mean, what do you mean, which one? There's
Well, wait a second. Two things can be same guy, right? Different flavors, perhaps, because let's.
Okay, this is the conclusion of the 8 p.m. CST Trump Kamala Deep State Room with Adrian Dittman and Chris. I want to thank you and God bless you. We will be back at 8 p.m. CST where we will be live streaming on X, on Instagram. Wait, what did they say? Thank you. Canceled for you. It will be refunded within 7 business days. Take us a few days for items that start shipping. Thank you. Thanks. It's funny, George Bush, there's an article that says he has no plans to endorse in the election because if he endorses Kamala, it's not a positive endorsement. It just confirms she's a neocon, so he can't endorse. But fucking Cheney came out endorsed, which is pretty crazy. All right, Chris, hope you have a great afternoon. This is Adrian Dimon. God bless.
On the way back to the warehouse, doing the deliveries.
Is everybody gonna watch Donald Trump donk on that communist slut?
Hell no.
Why that hoe's gonna get donked on? She's dumb as a bag of rocks.
They both dumb as a bag of rocks.
I don't think so.
Why is it like if anybody's the Trump is like on better game? Why don't we watch that? We really should.
Well, I rewatched the Pence Kamala debate, and Kamala, and the whole thing in that first debate with Pence was all about the vaccines, because at that time they didn't have a vaccine, and they kept saying, and Kamala says, if Donald Trump tells me to get the vaccine, I'm not going to get the vaccine, but if Dr. Fauci tells me to get the vaccine, I'm going to get the vaccine.
They're gonna hang on the same topic, and they're gonna hang on the abortion topic, the shooting shit, same fucking topics that they're fucking.
Yeah, I get the same feeling. It's gonna be it's gonna be a repeat of everything else, and we're all gonna be like, we've already seen this show like 10 times now. What the fuck?
Definitely a shit show.